Hey everyone, welcome back to an episode of Create with Linda. So it is Tuesday, guys, and it's around 10:53 in the morning, and wow, what a morning I've had so far. What a morning. Guys, let me tell you a little bit of backstory, okay? Let me tell you this. I gotta tell you this because you won't understand. Um, so Jenny has this issue with her leg. If you guys have been here a while, you know. If you don't, she's had this issue with her left leg. It's where her disability stems from, not stems from, but it really affects her left side with her cerebral palsy. And so she has this stiffness in her leg that every once in a while will act up. If she does a lot of walking, if she, is very active, it acts up. So anyway, she had camp, and everything was great. She had a fun time. Everything was awesome. And yesterday she went to program, and they were doing a lot of walking, and her leg acted up. Well, she was in a lot of pain. She was crying. She called me. It's very painful because it's like a Charlie horse is what it is. And if she's lucky enough to be home when it happens, they give her Tylenol, and it helps it pretty quickly. But she wasn't home. She wasn't at the program, so she couldn't get any medicine. So it was bad. So she was crying. It's very painful, and it's very dramatic and traumatic for her. Anyway, she goes home, and they take her, the group home takes her to urgent care, where now let me tell you something. She has had double tests. She's had vascular tests. She's had all kinds of x-rays, all kinds of tests on everything on her leg, like artery, everything. So we know that she's healthy, that it's good, that she doesn't have, a blood clot or anything like that. So we know that. So it's just something that has to be managed. So they took her to urgent care, and urgent care doesn't know who the hell she is. They don't know her. And so they look at it, and they call me, and they ask me what's going on with her leg, how long, and I tell them the whole backstory, the whole story about the whole thing. So the doctor releases, the doctor, tells them that her advice as far as maybe getting her physical therapy, which we have to talk to the regular doctor about, yada yada. And she doesn't write on the sheet allowed to go back to program, because with the state, with the group state, with a state group home, everything has to be written down. If she goes to the doctor for something that she couldn't go to program to, or something, or there's a question, the state has to see she's allowed to go back to program, because they're liable. So it's this big freaking thing. So anyway, she got up this morning, all ready to go to program. She was limping a little bit. She was holding up her leg a little bit. So her staff member said, "Jennifer, I don't think you can go to program today because you're still in pain, and let's rest your leg today." That was her decision to make. Now, she could have went to program. Like she said, I could have let her go. I really can't tell her she can't go, but the thing is that she spoke to the staff at the program, and they said, "We're doing a lot of walking today. It's not going to be beneficial for her. It's going to be harmful to her." So anyway, they decided to say she has to stay home today. Well, she calls me on the drop of a hat with anything, because her protector, always have been, and she just is addicted to me, and it's just crazy. Okay, this is what I have. This is the adult disabled child that I have kind of created, because I never knew what was her disability, not her disability, and it was very hard managing her, and I let her get away with everything. So I created a monster, and I admit it. I totally admit it. Working in therapy with it and everything, even with my other children, I always was so worried about protecting their heart that I would let them get away with certain things that weren't appropriate to nothing that would ever hurt them. You know what I mean? But I'm talking about like emotional things. Anyway, with Jennifer, I went overboard and beyond overboard because of her disability. So anyway, she calls me, "Mom, they won't let me go," crying hysterical, crying like that, "They won't let me go to therapy. I told them I'm fine." Just continuing to just cry and yell and scream. and cursing at me. And this is what she's done all her life. She's abused me verbally and all of that. And I've always taken it and coped with it and just pushed my feelings aside and always took care of what I had to do to stop her from doing that. And that was the wrong thing. But that's what I did in the moment, and that's what I thought was the right thing to do. And I'm not even saying it was the wrong thing. It was just the way I handled it, and that's how I coped with it, because I didn't know any better. This was my first child with a disability. I didn't know any better. Okay, so there's that. Anyway, so she's cursing at me, and I said, she's like, well, if I can't go to program, can I come over today? So right away, I'm like, oh, probably. I said, let me think about it. Let me talk to Dad, and maybe I'll come and get you. And this way, I figured it'll soothe her. She can spend the day with us, and she won't be so miserable and everything. She was cursing at me, and and just being really, really mean, and just fresh and everything. And so I hung up with her. I said, I'm going to hang up. I will call you back. Well, she kept calling me and calling me and calling me. I would answer, and she would badger me and badger me and badger me and just, cursing. And I want to come to your house and pick me up right now, and just demanding. So I said, let me call the staff. So I call the lady, and I speak to her, and she's like, I said, okay, I said, I'm just going to pick her up today. I'm going to pick her up in a little while, and she'll spend the day with me, and I'll bring her home after dinner. And she's like, Mrs. Fee. And I said, yeah. And she goes, why would you do that? And I said, because, she's upset and everything. She goes, but Mrs. Fee, she was cursing at you. She was being belligerent to you. She was being mean to you. She was being really fresh and disrespectful. Why would you reward her for that? And I thought to myself, wow. Now here I am bawling my eyes out. Okay, just so you know, I'm crying my eyes out right now, because all I want to do is go get my child and cuddle her, and because of all the emotions. And she goes, you can do what you want to do. She goes, but I think I don't think you should do that. She said, you're gonna be showing her that like she's winning, and that she's and she can act like this, and this is the thing, and it's the truth, because that's what I always did. She would always have a big fat temper tantrum. I'd hold off and hold off and hold off till I couldn't do it anymore, and then I would give in. And she knew that. And even my own family members knew that. And it was really tough, because it would cause a lot of conflict between my other kids and my husband and everything. Anyway, I'm not going to go too deep into it, because I spoke to you guys about this. Go look at my other videos. Yeah, so it's been rough. So something hit me, and I was like, you know what? She's so right. Like, I have to think about this in a different way. I can't think emotionally. I can't go by my heart. And and what's great about her staff is that this staff was so amazing. She's very stern, but she's also very compassionate and loving, and is very, very helpful. So she says to me, and she says, she's going to be okay. Believe me, we're trained for this. This is why she's here. You can't handle this right. You can't handle this anymore, and that's okay. She's here for a reason. She's going to be okay. I promise you. She's going to be okay. And she brought me right down to reality. And thank God for her, And then I took a deep breath, and I shut the volume off of my phone, and I didn't look at it. She was calling me and calling me and calling me. I spoke to I have a text line with my sisters. I have 2 sisters and 5 girl cousins who are all best friends and very close. And I told them what the situation, and they put it all into perspective for me and helped me, and just said and gave me all the love and the comfort and the truth that I needed. And between her and the staff and my husband, because my husband, is like that way. He's like, well, no. He goes, we're not picking her up. She's going to abuse us all day, And I feel like, oh my God, like she's your daughter, like, and I get mad at him, but he's right. He definitely is right. And it's not that he doesn't have a heart for her and all that. He just has a harder, sterner type of personality like that. Where me, I am just like, my heart I just can't. And it's not that he's not heartbroken or upset. It's just that he can handle it in a different way. And that's how we raised our kids. And I always was like the one, he would always be the one that would say, Frankie's being fresh or something. And he would say, I'm going to go take his Nintendo out of his room for a couple hours. And I'd be like, no, don't do that. that's so mean. And like, we would end up doing it, but oh, my heart would break. I would hate to discipline, and I disciplined them to a point, but I also let them get away with a lot. And they're good kids, thank God. They all turned out really, really good, thank God. But they're emotional in different ways that maybe I didn't let them handle certain things with their own emotions. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm not going to get all into that whole thing, because that's something for me to work on, and I am working on with my therapist, so I can cope with certain things and them and all of that. Anyway, yeah. But the thing is that, so I let it be. With all the advice, I let it be. She calmed down. After she calmed down, she called me, and then she started on me again. Mom, can you pick me up? Can you pick me up? Can you pick me up? And I didn't tell her 100%, which was the wrong thing to do. I should have just said, Jennifer, I can't come today. Straight out, instead of stringing her along. But that was my way of coping, and that's what I'm working on. So I said, I can't tell you right now. I will call you back in a little while. But mom. So I hung up, and then she kept calling me back for like 10 minutes. Then it stopped. Then I heard nothing, so I called her staff, and I said, how is she? Because she's not calling me, and I'm just making sure she's okay. She's like, she's okay. I took her outside for a little while. She's definitely calmed down. She's okay. And then so I waited an hour at 2, and then she called back, and I answered, and then she started. The first thing she said to me was, Mom, so did you talk to Daddy? You going to pick me up? And I said, Jen, I can't today. And I made an excuse. I said, no, Dad didn't realize he has a doctor's appointment. Instead of just saying, Mom's not coming. But then I just went on to say, because tomorrow is Wednesday, and she was going to come over after program tomorrow. Anyway, Wednesday after program, and eat with us, and then bring her home. On Wednesday, she does that sometimes, and I haven't seen her in a week and a half, since camp anyway. So that's what I was going to do. So I said to her, well, you're coming over tomorrow anyway after program. She's like, but that's too long. And I'm like, well, it is, honey, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. You'll be okay. And she started complaining a lot and stuff. So I just told her I'll call back later, have another phone call. And I hung up with her. And her staff is going to take her to one of the little farms today. Not the farm, like a grocery, like a fruit farm. You know how it's a little place where they can just walk, Adams, they can walk around a little bit, so she can get out just a little bit and break up the monotony of being home. So she's going to do that, and then she'll be okay. By that time, the girls will be home, and she'll be feeling better and all of that. So but I just had a horrible morning. I just was a horrible morning because I was so distraught. I just didn't know what to do, because my heart tells me one thing, my head tells me another. So that was rough. But I'd appreciate all your advice. I know I had some good, really, really good, knowledgeable YouTuber friends on here. And so, yeah, but we can also talk about it on the live tonight. So I'll see you on the live, 7 o'clock. But I just wanted to tell you a little bit of my morning. I'm going to go now. I'm going to end this video. I'm going to put it up because my husband and I, in an hour and a half, my son was so nice and so generous. He said, Mom and Dad, you guys have been through so much the last couple of months. Here, he's given us money to go to the movies to see Twister today. And so we're going to go get out, because Billy's going he's going to the doctor tomorrow. More than likely, he'll be back to work by the end of the week, next week, the beginning of the week. So he's like, you guys have been through so much. You don't do anything fun. Everything else, he goes, I'm gonna pay for you guys to go to the movies, because we don't have any extra money to pay. All that money is gone. Now we have to wait for the other money and my money to come in the middle of the month and everything else. But anyway, yes. So he's doing a really nice thing. So I'm gonna end this video, put this up, and then I will see you at the live 7 o'clock. What's for dinner? I'm not doing cooking. Like I said, I'm just doing a Q&A. I don't know. I might do something little on there. Whatever I feel, but I'm not going to pressure myself to do anything big or anything, because I'm just exhausted. I'm going to go sit in there, eat popcorn, and just be in the Twister. Love you guys. Thank you for listening, and thank you for all your love and support. I appreciate all of you. I love all of you, and I hope you're having a great day. Love yous. Bye.